Plaintiff Cheyette Kaiser says the defendant was the maintenance man at her apartment complex, and one day he falsely accused her of vandalizing his apartment. Cheyette claims she then heard that the defendant was bad-mouthing her, and when she confronted him, the defendant assaulted her. She's suing for pain and suffering and emotional distress. Defendant Jose Morales says he didn't have any problems with Cheyette until one day, out of the blue, she threw a rock through his window. Jose insists he never laid a finger on Cheyette, and he's countersuing for emotional distress.
Start with you.
Your Honor, let me start off by saying I do not know this man. Prior to these incidents happening between him and I knew him as the maintenance man. He came into my apartment, he sprayed for bugs a couple of times, and he fixed an outlet. Other than that, we have no prior history. Back on late August, I was outside smoking a cigarette. Mr. Morales came outside with his phone. I didn't think anything of it because nowadays everybody's on their phone. So, I throw out my cigarette and I go about my day. Next thing you know, I got the police officers knocking at my door saying, hey, somebody's accusing you of busting out the window. At the time, I did not know who or what window was busted, whether it was a car window, a house window, I did not know. So, they asked me a couple questions. I answered it as honestly as I could. And they read my background. They found out I didn't have any prior criminal history, so they went on about their day. Weeks out, I had random people come up to me saying, yeah, this person is accusing me of being ratchet, ghetto, busting out their window, basically slandering my name. So when my friend came up to me and said it, I was like, okay, well, where does this person stay at and who is it? Come to find out, it was Mr. Morales, and she actually pointed out to where he lived. So I went to his house and I knocked on his door and I said, hey, basically keep my name out your mouth. I don't know who busted out your window, but it wasn't me. So we get into this.
Why'd you feel the need to do that?
Well, I mean, he was slandering my name, and it was like, I did what any average person would do for somebody to go confront them.
That's what you did.
Plaintiff Cheyette Kaiser says the defendant was the maintenance man at her apartment complex, and she claims after he falsely accused her of vandalism, he punched her in the face.
Go ahead.
So, we get into this big old argument. Darnell, he comes from upstairs, who is a resident that lives in his apartment complex, and he says, hey, Shay, my child's upstairs sleeping, you need to go. So I was like, okay, fine, I leave. Mr. Morales chases me outside, and he's holding out his camera phone, and he's saying, oh yeah, B, you're gonna get kicked out, called me all types of names, and I was like, well, basically telling him to keep my name out his mouth. So I go upstairs, I try to get prepared for my day because I had orientation for school that day, and I had orientation for a job. So, but I wanted to let the leasing office know what had happened between him and I, before any further, altercations happened. So on my way to the leasing office, Mr. Morales was facing away from me, talking to two other maintenance men about the incident. I overheard him saying, yeah, next time she comes in my face or next time she comes to my house, I'm gonna bust out her teeth all out of her mouth. So I stand behind him and I say, well, do it then. And he turns around, takes two. He gets into a boxing stance and then he punches me. My glasses fly off. I'm utterly shocked at this point.
So you chose to tell him to hit you instead of going for your job interview?
Well, I overheard the conversation and me, trying to be bold, I guess. I don't know.
Like you were bold enough to go and knock on this man's door.
Exactly.
This time you say, well, hit me then. Hit me.
It wasn't that. I was trying to go to the leasing office to inform the management what was going on between him and I.
All right, so then what happened? He hit you, you say?
So then, I was in utterly shock. I pick up my glasses. I run to the leasing office. I'm hysterically crying, trying to explain my situation to the property management. And the police officer, after I got done telling my story to them.
Oh, you called the police?
I did. I called the police. Okay. Yes. Then when the police officer arrives, he's already frustrated. This is when I found out that Mr. Morales had called the police earlier that day and said that I hit him. But I told the police officer, I was like, well, if I hit him, his apartment was right there. Okay. Why not run inside your apartment and call the police? Why run outside after the person that supposedly had attacked you? And the officer was like, okay, well, you have a point. Now he was like, well, do you have any witnesses, seeing that he hit you? I said, well, there's two other maintenance men that saw it. I said, but I doubt they're gonna be on my side. So he says, okay, well, stay right here and I'm gonna go talk to the witnesses. So I was like, okay. Meanwhile, I go into the property manager's office and I'm telling her what's going on because she wanted to write it down to put in my file. When I come outside, the police officer is waiting with handcuffs saying that I'm being locked up for disorderly conduct.
What did he say you did?
Well, he just said that he interviewed my witnesses and they accused me of being the aggressor.
Oh, okay. The 2 witnesses said you did it.
Yes,
Okay.
but those are his friends. Like, those are 2 other maintenance men. They worked with him for years.
Okay. And so they handcuffed you and did what?
They took me to jail. They set my bail at $50,000. So I was unable to post bail. I was locked up for 14 days. It was just.
Okay. You have police reports on that? All right, sir, let me hear your version.
Well, Your Honor, as you can see, everything she's saying is so inconsistent that don't make no sense. So, on the 31st of August, I was sitting down playing video games early in the morning, 7, and making breakfast for my kids. I see a shadow figure standing by my living room window. I ignored it. Next thing I know, I take a second glance. I see the plaintiff with a rock in her hand, just tossing it like a softball right through my window.
That's a lie.
At that moment, I come outside to confront and ask what's going on.
Never confronted me
what's
at
the
all.
problem? She just walks away from me, and I walk towards her. She said, at this moment, she don't even notice me. She sits down, lights a cigarette. When she noticed me, she drops the cigarette, hightails it upstairs.
Oh my God.
I then, since I'm the maintenance man, obviously I got keys, I could get access to anywhere. So I go in the building, and turns, I go upstairs, I follow her, I knock on the door. She don't answer. So I come back downstairs, nice
That
and
is a
calm,
lie.
Never
and
finished.
I just go and just dial 911 like any civilized person would do. So right there, saying that, I'm gonna show you the report from that first phone call, which states
Please.
that
This is from your call?
This is my first call, which states that she told the police officer that at no time she was outside early that morning, and she came here telling you that she was out there this morning.
Ma'am, did you ever tell the police you were out?
No, what I did, they asked me the question, they asked me, was I outside? And I said, yes, I was outside smoking a cigarette.
So you never
That's not
told
what
them
it
no?
says.
No, I never told them no.
Let me see. Officer North and I made contact with Chayette. Chayette stated that she had not left the apartment all morning and that she was just walking up when we arrived. Police lying on you?
Your Honor, I don't know why they would put that down there, but I did tell them that I was outside I did tell them that I was outside smoking a cigarette. And they asked me what had happened. They said, did I get into any confrontation? And I told them no.
Plaintiff Chayette Kaiser says the defendant was the maintenance man at her apartment complex. And she claims after he falsely accused her of vandalism, he punched her in the face.
Continue with your testimony, sir.
Yes, Your Honor. So, a couple weeks go by. Now we up to September 17th. The plaintiff right here decides that she thinks, like she told you she knocked on my door, it was more like she came to the same window that I had just repaired and starts kicking on it like a lunatic
Oh my God.
to get my attention. So I come outside and
You don't come
to ask
outside,
her,
I came inside.
Quiet, ma'am.
I come outside to ask her, what is her problem? Is she high on drugs or she's crazy?
Oh my gosh.
Which one? Or probably both. In turn, she's screaming and yelling and ramping and raving that keep my name out your mouth, and she took it upon her liberty to swing on me 4 or 5 times.
Oh my God, I did not see
Mind you, Your Honor, my mother raised me better than that, than to hit a female, because there's no
But yet you
way,
socked me
no
in the
how
face.
that she could even put damage on me.
Come on now.
So one of my neighbors, which she's saying the wrong name, his name is Devin, from the 3rd floor, runs down because he hears the commotion. When he runs downstairs, he witnesses this young female is attacking me. So
He
goes
doesn't
and
witness
pushes her
anything,
out
and
the
that's exactly
building.
what it says on the police
Let me finish,
report.
man.
He pushes her outside the building, and in terms, we lock the door. I go inside, grab my phone, and make another phone call to 911. At that time, the police officers arrive, and I have a second report, which also stems to the 3rd incident, which she called the police, which I have both right here if you want to look at.
And in that incident, it says that Devin refused to testify and that he did not see me hit him.
Doesn't say that. It says a whole different story.
You say what he's gonna hand me?
Yeah.
Says
That's
what?
what was read to me in court. I don't know. I wasn't able to obtain those documents.
Well, how do you know what was read then?
Well, that's what the
You
judge
heard
said to me
and
on
you
court, and that's
recall?
what my attorney told me.
See, Your Honor, nothing makes sense
Your
here.
attorney told you.
Yeah.
Oh, you weren't there?
No.
You weren't in court for your hearing?
Well, yeah, well, I was in court for my hearing,
what I'm saying.
but before when me and my attorney talked to one another.
No, we're talking about in the hearing when you say you heard it being said. And I said you were there and you heard it. You said, no, that's what your attorney told you.
Yeah, that's what my attorney had
Okay,
told me, yeah.
You keep contradicting yourself. And why did you wait until October 8th to go in about something he did to you on September 17th?
That's the thing. I got incarcerated that same day. I didn't get released until October 1st.
And that's when you went?
Yes, that's when I went to file a different report. But I wanted to take some time just to regroup myself and to try to get my life back together.
Before filing the report?
Yes.
What did you have to get together exactly before going to the police station?
Just my mind. I was just so emotionally distraught from being locked up for 14 days. Like, I don't have a criminal history. I don't even have a juvenile history.
So it took you 7 days after leaving jail
Yes.
to go and file your report?
Yes.
Because you were still traumatized?
Yes.
From being in jail?
Yes.
Okay. What's your counterclaim for? How does she owe you?
She owes me because for the sheer fact that I had to uproot my family, I was at a point that I had to defend myself with my employer and had to state my case. And the way she dragged my name and then the image that she tried to paint out to be, that it's not me at the end of the day.
Why do you think this man would do all this to you?
I don't know. Like I said, I don't know him prior to that. That's why I don't understand why he even accused me of busting out his window.
I don't have a clue. That's what I'm here to find out today.
Well, that's the thing. I don't have any reason to bust out his window. Why would I just go and bust out somebody's window?
Why would you even kick my window the second occasion?
Like, seriously.
Like, why would you even knock on my door? Like,
I knocked on his door. I never kicked at his window.
What I do know is
knocked
that
on his door.
you all have a burden to prove your case, that more likely than not what you're saying has happened, and neither one of you have proved it.
Well,
That's all.
The
Yes,
reason
ma'am?
why I'm suing for pain and suffering is because not only did I lose a job, I
You haven't
lost.
proved that he did anything to you. That's my point. You haven't proven your case. So I know why you're suing. I know why, but I'm telling you, you haven't proven it. We have admitted that you went up to the man's door to tell him to keep your name out of his mouth.
Yeah, I did do
You
that.
also provoked him, hit me. The only thing you deny is that you bust the window. Neither one of you have claims that I am clear about, so I'm going to dismiss both your claims. Have a good day.
Well,
Go
the
ahead.
only thing I could do is go after the apartment complex because, you know, he assaulted me while on duty. And I've talked to many lawyers, and they said that I have a case against the apartment complex and the police department. So I'm just going to have to pursue from there, from this point on.
She can have fun with that. As you can see, it ain't get too far. At the end of the day, I'm clear. It is what it is.
Are you having problems collecting rent from your former roommate? If so, ask me about it on my website, AskJudgeMathis.com.